Hey guys, Chris here. I often tweet about my love of using Automator on the Mac to do complex tasks repeatedly, simply, if that makes sense. So I thought I'd just do a quick screencast showing how I use it. So this is not really the best use case because it's not that hard to do what I'm about to do with Automator, to do it manually. But I've got these screenshots of a WordPress theme that I'm writing a blog post about for Lemon Productions. And so nothing too crazy there, except that they're all named screenshot with the timestamp. And so it'd be nicer to have those as either some sort of descriptive name. And so I could go through and type the name of the theme or whatever and do it like that. But what would be even better is if I could do it all quickly and automatically. So Automator is a program that is included on every Mac, has been for the last 2 or 3 or 4 versions of OS X. If you go to your applications folder and look for Automator right there, you can start it that way, or just use Spotlight and start it that way. So you're presented with this window, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff you can do with it. For right now, I'll just keep it simple and choose workflow. And so I need to somehow figure out how to get these things into here. And basically the way I do it is you select all the stuff that you want to change. So if you can do it on the desktop like this, or if you have a Finder window, and choose all of them that way. So you could have maybe, a folder of 600 pictures, let's say. In this case, I just have 7. So to start with, you need to get the Finder items into Automator. So you can search through all the different actions that are pre-built into Automator. And so I'm going to choose Get Selected Finder Items. You could choose a folder and say Get Folder Contents. This is what I use. Works for me. And then I just want to rename those. So doing a search for rename Finder items. And it asks you now if you want to make a copy of the originals because you're changing them, or if you want to just rename them and forget about what the old names are. So in this case, I don't care what the old names were. Where this is handy is if there's other actions for resizing images and things like that, where you could keep the original and then make a thumbnail, let's say, or if you're resizing it for someone else's purposes, but you want to keep the high resolution images, the original ones yourself, those kinds of things is where you could use that. So in this case, I'm going to say don't add. And you can either add text to what's there already, or just make it whatever it is. Sequential is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start with a new name. In this case, the theme that it's screenshots of is called Unsigned. I'm going to place a number after the name and then start the numbers at 1, separate with a dash, and make all numbers 2 digits long, just because that's handy if you're doing more than 9 images or 9 files. It's handy to have them at least 2 digits long. And then I just double check, make sure the selected Finder items I want to change are selected. Go back to Automator, hit run, and then there you go. All the files are changed, and now I can use them in my blog post about this theme. So that's just a quick, simple look at it. As you can see, there's all sorts of actions pre-built into this, so you can do a lot of automated tasks in a lot of the built-in Mac apps, as well as other apps that you may install as you use your Mac. So definitely encourage you to check it out and think of neat ways to save yourself a bunch of time. So these can then be saved as this action workflow can be saved wherever you might want to do that. And then you can just call it up each time and just select different files and rename them. And there's other ways you can save it out as actually a clickable action or a folder, and that can do actions for you and those kinds of things. But because in my case anyways, I'm changing the file name each time, I just keep going back to Automator and using it that way. So there you go. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'd be curious to see or hear what you think of using Automator for. See ya.